Happy Sunday. Happy spring forward. Oh my god, my cats are so silly right now. Wish you could see what they were doing. Oh my gosh. It's like Battle of the Orange Cats. They're like bunny kicking each other in the head. So cute. I'm so glad I'm not a cat though. I don't want to be kicked in my head. On Sundays, we practice slowing down, taking breaks, letting things sort of settle so that we can see where we are, see how things are going. Sometimes it's a good time to notice what we're ready to let go of. And in that slowing down space, it's easy to sort of put things on pause or maybe take it away for a while altogether and notice what we want to bring forward. Like maybe because it's more relevant to the week, or it's where you are in your healing work or your inner work. And with this energetic wellness, it's kind of like going to the gym. You're going to do it for as long as you want to keep that physical well-being, so once you start practicing taking care of your energy, you're going to want to keep doing that. You'll notice, this is good for me, this feels better. It's in the beginning, it's not something that's going to give you instant gratification. Maybe instant synchronicities, but sometimes those aren't as exciting and they don't keep your attention as much as like when things manifest and come out. And this is why it's easier to start with things that you feel easier about, because those things are always going to be easier to manifest. You can always create things that are easy faster because it's easy. When you are easy in your energy, you're easier to manifest, So when you feel like, oh, this will be easy, it will be. And that's sort of like what I kind of want to talk about today. Like our intention is just like that. Have you ever like told like your kid or your partner, oh gosh, something like they're asking for something in the fridge and you say it's in the fridge, and they open the door and they just kind of look and they don't know where they're going. But if you said it's it's in the middle of the fridge, it's on the left and it's got a red lid, well then I'm gonna get attacked. My sharp Skittles got me down there. Guys, ow, I'm cold. I'm not a. She sees me under the blanket and she's trying to fight it. It's my feet. I'm freezing. I have all these blankies, but my bed's made, and I don't like to unmake the bed until I go to sleep. Oh my god, stay still, Nancy, stay still. I'm freezing now. Making biscuits keeps me warmer. So, our intention is kind of like that. It can be very, how do we say? If our intention isn't clear, it's like sending someone to look for something without good instructions. Have you ever needed someone to do something for you? Hey, thanks for the follow. So you give them like really good details. You tell them exactly where to go, who to see when they get there, because you want them to do the thing. You've given them this task to do for you, and you want it to go through well. You want it to happen. You want it to be easier for them. You want it to go well. With your energy, we have that ability or freedom to do the same thing. We can tell our energy every day, like, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to be right on time with myself all day. I'm going to see things working out for me all day. I'm going to let this day be easy for me. I'm going to let this day be fun for me. And this little bit of thinking into that kind of thoughts, thinking into those kind of ideas, not getting too specific, not saying, oh, Jill's going to be awesome today, because we don't know what the other persons are doing. That's not where we are empowered. That's where we sort of start to lose our ability to manifest on purpose, or create our day on purpose, or tune our energy on purpose. Our energy is just for us. when we are start when we start practicing being on purpose, kids, it is a little wonky, but you'll notice quickly that being an on purpose person, you sort of start to control the environment, at least the environment surrounding you. In the beginning, it'll feel a little weird, like you've slipped into a different seat or you're wearing your shoes on the wrong feet. But that's where you sort of want to let it be in your mind. Okay, this is weird because I'm moving into a different space. I'm moving into a different place and time, the time where everything is easier. So right this moment, it's a little awkward because over there it felt difficult. I'm going over there where it's easier. So right now in the middle, it makes sense that it's a little wonky. It's maybe new. So those are the moments. Now, that's not to say sit through discomfort. The idea is you're always looking for more emotional comfort in your mind, whether you can do it now or tell yourself, we'll talk about this later to yourselves. You know, you never want to like bypass what's happening in your body, in your energy, in your emotions. You know, you never ever want to do that. If you're having a hard moment, if you're feeling pained or afraid, that's something really to acknowledge. However, it's something that isn't as easy to handle when you're at work or dealing with maybe making dinner for the littles as it is when you're back in your quieter space, when you're in your room, maybe when you're in the bathroom, you know, when you have a moment. And when we start learning how to communicate with our inner selves, when we feel that part of us getting afraid, you know, we can start to take care of ourselves by, you know, for me, I like to put my hand on my body anywhere and just say, hey, we're okay. This does not feel good. Clearly, this is something that I want to get in a better energy with. You know, right now I feel upside down. I feel like I'm losing. I feel like I'm in danger. You know, and that's something else that I like to notice on Sundays. You know, as a mom in the beginning, I felt like there was never enough time in the day. All day long, I'm rushing every time I had to change a diaper. It was almost like a race. How fast can I do this? How fast can I get done this cleaning? How fast can I get through this task and this task? And it was always almost like I'm running and being chased. And when I first was learning this, letting myself slow down felt counterintuitive. Well, how am I going to get it all done? If I'm rushing and I still don't have enough time, how in the hell is slowing down going to give me more time? It's really tricky in the beginning, letting yourself learn your energy, but it is something that will pay off exponentially. I love that word. It will pay off so big. You will not stop engaging with that part of yourself once you're in that space. Once you start doing it, you know, it's like eating a chip. You're going to get another one. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I do like to practice just eating one chip, but that's just a personal thing. Cliches and stereotypes can sometimes be fun and funny because they are often true over and over again. But just like anytime we're comparing, that's not something that is to be used against us. Some people have an easier time changing their mind and changing habits, changing behaviors. Some people can do it easier with food. Some people can do it easier with substances. Some people can do it easier in relationships. This isn't ever to like be, oh, I'm bad. I'm not good at this. Sometimes we could just see and notice, especially in the beginning of all this, notice, hey, I'd really like this better. I'd really like to feel like I'm enjoying this part too. You know, when we let ourselves settle for a part of ourselves being less than, it will start to ripple into the parts that are even good. And when we let so many parts be not good enough or hard, it all starts to trickle into each other. And when we let ourselves have it easier, when we let ourselves know that we're in the right place, things start to conform to your knowing. Your intention is kind of like your roadmap for you. And if you can kind of set it and forget it, it will take you there. You kind of tell yourself in the morning and you trust that it's going to unfold. And that does take practice in the beginning, especially because for me, I felt like a control freak. Delegating, telling others to help, asking for help felt really uncomfortable. It felt like, hey, thanks for the follow. It felt like if I didn't do it myself, it wouldn't be done right. And then I would have it harder. I had to do it all. And there wasn't enough time and but that, hey, thanks for the follow. But last night at work, yeah, and it's sometimes when we let ourselves slow down, maybe we need a drink of water, maybe we need a potty break. We are so willing to ignore ourselves for the sake of a task. Hey, sharp skittle. And that's not going to be good for us. Now let's talk about that. Sometimes there are things that have to be tended to. The baby, I don't know why I did that. The baby's hungry, we feed the baby. The dinner's done, we turn the fire off. Some things have to be tended to when they need to be tended to. And that is all up to your deciding. But there are moments when you can notice where you'll be able to slow down. And you'll notice, what am I rushing to? Just the next segment so that I can get into that space and feel also rushed? Or can I slow this all down a little bit and get more on time with me? It is, in the beginning, I remember feeling like I learned to do this in the mornings. My teacher knew that the earlier part of the day had less momentum. It would be easier for me to practice starting earlier in the day. I also would feel like as soon as I'd lose my shit or, something would go wrong, I would lose the day. I'd be upset and I couldn't get myself back to alignment. I couldn't get myself back to calm. I couldn't find on time again. I was like, I remember I would call a friend of mine. She and I both talk about our energetic selves, and she's known about mindset work a lot longer than I have. And I was just learning it my way with my words, So I would talk to her about what was going on and I'd say like, oh my God, Amy, I'm going to be mad for like 2 days because of this. Because it would seem like it would take me that long to slow back down and find calm again so that I could try again. That was a word I was not allowed to use. What was it? Try. I hope, my teacher was very masculine oriented for me in the beginning. It was a lot of don't do that and do this, but that's what I needed. I needed someone to tell me what was going to be good and what was going to be bad. And then I was able to be guided to be less codependent. I was able to be guided to trust myself through learning about my intuition, through practicing knowing that I got my back. But it took steps. I didn't go right from really not liking me or my experience into, oh, I trust this. This is great. I let myself take the time that it took to build the trust inside. I let myself feel brand new and like I wasn't doing really good sometimes. But I knew that, well, ultimately I was out of ideas. I knew that if it wasn't this, I didn't know what else it would be because I had tried all the other things. I tried ignoring it. I tried numbing it. And none of those things were working out. And it just kept getting like I was further away from happy for all of those attempts, It was kind of like if this wasn't going to work out, I wasn't sure what would or could. But I also know that we all don't have to get to such a rock bottom. We don't have to hit the floor so hard. At any moment, we could just begin engaging with our thought energy and our emotional body. And we could start shifting different feelings, different experiences into different spaces. And we can let it be easy. It doesn't have to be like our bums on fire. It doesn't have to be like we're running from a predator. It can just be like, I'm learning about myself. I'm going to let myself learn how to tapping it fast for you. I love tapping, if that's what you mean. Tapping was one of the first healing tools I was taught. I was taught to do it in the mirror, which is also now how I teach my people when they are coming to me to learn this stuff. And tapping is always one of my favorite tools. You know, it was one of the ones that was able to work for me in real life as I was learning in a big way. So I had to go to a downtown court off like a courthouse, like in the administrative part, to get paperwork. My mom had passed away and I had to get like her death record or something like that. It was already a super intense situation because of how she passed away. So, and I was by myself. At this space, I kind of always felt like I needed an adult. And in this space, I just did not feel empowered. I kind of had this idea that it was going to be hard there. You know, people would have, you know, people that work there weren't going to be in the best moods. And so I get there, I get in line, I'm in this big building, you know, all the parking downtown's hard. It's a lot getting there. So just getting there, already worried, my energy was like, I was like frazzled. You know, if I wasn't shaking, I was just this close, you know? So I'm sitting in line and there was one lady behind like a teller. You could see like this big clear plastic window and booths, but just one lady helping a person in front of me, and they were talking, but you could tell they were not like enjoying the conversation between each other. And I was just like, oh my God, this lady's gonna be mean to me. And I'm starting to get like all this anxiety, like I'm starting to lose my breath pattern. I'm like breathing like weird. So I took myself to the bathroom, and in my head I was like, what can I do? I put my hand in the line. First I felt myself kind of just tapping my hand, almost not even realizing it. And then I excused myself to the bathroom. I put my back against the wall in the bathroom, and I just started doing the same tapping that I did with myself in the mirror. You know, I started tapping in the same prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's what my teacher taught me in the beginning, because I didn't know any of these things. I didn't know what to say to myself. I didn't have good words for myself. I couldn't think well for myself. It was helpful to have a guide. So I would say these things. I said these things, and I told myself, I'm okay. I am okay. This person is going to help me. I am different than another person. You know, I'm going to be okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I got out in the line again, and I kind of was just like breathing. I was reminding myself, I'm okay. I'm okay. And it was okay. The lady, you know, she wasn't like overjoyed to see me or anything, but she was just fine. You know, I talked to her about what I needed. I waited for her to get the papers. I paid for it, and I went back to the car, and it was done. And I was a little floored. You know, I was like, wow, that turned around way quicker, way different than I expected. Thank you. I do too. I like stripes. I like stripes a lot because for a lot of reasons. I like patterns, but also, like, I used to be very, very big. I've lost 100 pounds twice. So there were times when wearing a shirt like this would have been impossible. It would have felt like, no, you know, and I feel like the picture that I saw of myself, I was wearing like a striped short sleeve shirt, standing with my sisters facing the ocean, like my favorite place in the whole world. And my mom took a picture of us. We were like teenagers. We went on this all girls trip. It was the only time we ever did this, to Ocean City, Maryland. And I saw that picture that she loved because she's looking at her girls, you know, as kind of grown-ups. I laugh when I think about the way we behaved, calling ourselves grown-ups. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, you know, but I saw that picture and all I could see was the back of my arms. And because I wasn't used to seeing the back of my arms, I was like appalled. I was like, oh my God, everybody's been seeing that. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. I was so humiliated. I was so mortified. I wanted to crawl into all of the rocks and just stay there for evs. So I decided, I was like, I got to do something about this, you know? And so I did. And it was kind of just like that. I remember one time my youngest sister, I have 3 sisters, and my youngest sister said, you know, once Nancy says she's going to do something, she's going to do it. And it was really cool to hear that, back then. And it's really cool to know that now. Even when I wasn't consciously living and thinking and caring about my emotions and knowing how much I deserve to feel and be well, you know? Weird question. I always deserved to be well. There were always moments when I was getting it, when it was going right. You know, there were always spaces in time where I knew what was going to go my way, and it did. And that kind of looking back and comparing, it was easy to bring that kind of parts of those versions of me here. And that's really a cool advantage we have when we think into our past and into our future. When we know we can do something, we are bringing that time of what we want into the time of where we are. We're bringing them closer together. Our mind is drawing components, drawing the people, drawing the experiences closer to us. I wish you could see this crazy cat. I'm trying to see if I can flip my camera. I don't know if it's going to let me. But we're able to magnetize what we want through our thought energy. Oh my God. So this week, we're going to practice that. We're going to practice letting go. We're going to practice knowing what we want, trusting our attention, trusting our energy, trusting ourselves to deliver it. And so each week we'll be talking about the process of that. So today on Sunday, we're going to slow it all down. We're going to notice what's working well for me, what's about to unfold this week, how will I best be prepared for me this week. If there's something that I can sort of put on pause, I'm going to do that. You know, whether it's just thinking about it, or maybe the action that I'm taking isn't good for me right now. Maybe there are other things that I'm better at tending to right now. So that's where I'm going to sort of, even if I don't do anything about it today, I'm just going to think there. I'm not going to let myself think, God, this week's going to be crazy. Oh my God, this week's going to be hard. No. If I'm thinking that today, I'm going to slow that down and think, well, it would be easier if this. That would be really nice if that happened. I would love some help there. You know, well, maybe that will work out and I won't even have to go and do that. You know, you can give yourself ideas that it could happen differently just for the sake of soothing out your energy. Not because you're telling the universe what you want to do, but you're soothing your intention for how you want it to go. When we're setting an intention, it isn't to take control. It's to sort of put our place in the flow of what we really want to unfold anyway. And when we're thinking about our whole self and our energy is tuned to like our God source or the universe. We have human focus. We can do one thing at a time. We can think and feel about one thing at a time. When you're thinking into the universe or God or source, it is all things, everything at once. It's here breathing into my heart. It's making the sun and the moon do the sun and the moon. You know, it's the cat over there playing with the other cat. It's all of that all at once. It doesn't need to just pour the tea. It doesn't need to sit here and talk with me. It is doing all of it without an effort. So I can know that something that has all of that with me in mind is going to know the best thing for me to do, the best place for me to go, the best feeling for me to feel. And I can let my intuition sort of move me around the day. And it takes a little practice in the beginning, but it's the same way that we learn to drive. We when we first get in the car, when we're brand new, it's like, oh my God, it's so weird buckling the belt and learning our blinkers and the windshield wipers. And, you know, sometimes that's all really weird. But then when we do it a couple of times, we can get in the car and go and, whoa, how did I even get here? You know, we learn by repeating, and we get better when we practice anything. And that doesn't matter if you're as old as me at 47 or if you're a young one like my littles. Anywhere in there, you can decide, you can begin to learn and be in a different way with your energy. Until you don't have energy through your soul portal body called you as a human, you get to do that. You can change that. In lots of different spaces, whether it's your body or, you know, addictive behaviors, relationships, work. Like it all gets to be different if you would like it to feel different, and it all can be better if you would like it to feel better. It can uplift each other, and if it's unchecked, it can sort of have a mixed effect on each other. It can just feel like no rhyme or reason. But you can be the reason. That's what your free will is: the reason, the intention, the idea, the plan. I have decided, so it is. And letting yourself learn to trust that is worth it for you. The same way it was worth it to walk and talk and make yourself food and all the other things that you got to learn. So, okay, I'm going to stop rambling for the day. And we've sped up time, and I've let myself take my time. And we're going to have some play dates with the littles and a couple of my Mooney mom friends. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. If you have any questions about this or anything that I share ever, please feel free to reach out. I have put links to my schedule. I'm just now getting the scheduling up and running. But it is there, and it's live in my bio on pretty much all the platforms. And if you're having any problems with that, please let me know, because I can help there too. And I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll definitely see you tomorrow. Bye.